let's learn how to draft on Hit Fantasy. So if you guys didn't see the Create or Join League tutorial, be sure to watch that if you're confused as to how we got here. But now, since I'm the creator of this league, let me set the draft time. So we want to set the draft time for a time that best works for your league mates. So be sure to message them and just ensure that you pick the most ideal time where everybody is available. Alright, so I scheduled it for March 2nd at 1:15. We will save the changes. And now the draft has been set. So as you can see here, there's a countdown timer to when the draft starts, which is in 8 minutes. So let's get to the draft and see how it looks. Alright guys, so this is the draft room. As you can see here, we have the option to quick start the draft since we're the league creator. And let's take a look at the draft board to explain how drafting works. So as you can see, we have multiple rounds all the way up to 11. So the first number is the round number. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have the pick number, which is after the decimal. So this is the first pick in round 1. This is the second pick in round 1. This is the third pick in round 1. And this is the fourth pick in round 1. But I also, or this user, also has the first pick in round 2. So the way that is, it's a snake draft. So it's like a little snake. So the person who's picking at the end of the round basically gets 2 picks in a row. And then the order reverses and it goes back to the person who picked first. And now they have the last pick in that round. And then they get to pick 2 players in a row. So essentially, this is how a snake draft works. And that will continue going on until all 11 rounds are done. If you want more information, we have a little eye icon here that gives you a step-by-step tutorial of how drafting works. And you also have the option to exit the draft if you want to leave part way for whatever reason. So let's take a look at how you can search players and then use the queuing feature. So let's say I want to find Bumrah. He's my favorite player. So you can search based on last name or first name, and you're allowed to add them to your queue. Keeps all your potential players that you're looking to draft in one location without having to constantly search them. So for example, I want Virat Kohli as well. Let me queue him. And Yashasvi Jaiswal is also another great option. And if we scroll a little bit, we'll pick Hardik Pandya into our queue as well. So we're allowed to adjust the order in our queue using this up and down arrow. So Jaiswal, I want to put him first in my queue. I'll just move him up with this up arrow. And if I want to move Hardik Pandya down a little bit more, we'll use the down arrow. So that is how queuing works. You can add all your favorite players there. And we also have an auto draft feature, which I'll demonstrate for you later. But if you, by chance, are not able to draft, I would hope that you're able to. But if you can't, you're allowed to turn on this auto draft feature. So it picks the player who's first in your queue. But if there's nobody in your queue, it picks the player that's highest in the remaining draft board. Without further ado, let's quick start this draft and show you how the drafting process works. And as you can see here, only the commissioner has the ability to pause and start the draft. So we have a pause option that whenever you need to, you can pause the draft timer. So say if somebody goes away from keyboard or something like that, you're allowed to just pause it and wait for them to come back and just resume it at your will. So that's a pretty nice feature we have here. Let me resume the draft. And we can take a look. It's Rahul's first pick here. So we'll wait for him to select. And as you can see, we were allowed to view his picks with this draft board. And the red color means it's a batsman. So now it's my turn. Whenever it's your turn, this draft button illuminates a little bit, and it's grayed out when the player is already selected. You can see that Rahul already has Virat Kohli on his team. So let me take a look at my queue. Virat Kohli is no longer there since he's selected. So let me pick my favorite player that I had queued, Jasprit Bumrah. So I click draft, and you can see him on my team. Let's remember that we have 2 batsman slots, 2 bowlers, 1 all-rounder, 1 wicket-keeper, 2 flex, and 3 bench. So whenever you're drafting, make sure you remember your league settings. Otherwise, you won't fill all the slots in your team properly. As you can see here, the HK960 at the end got 2 picks in a row. He picked Hasaranga and Manvant Kumar, silly guy, but this is how the draft works. The person who picks at the end of the first round gets 2 picks in a row, and the draft order reverses, as we said before. So now let me demonstrate how Autodraft works. I have Yashasvi Jaiswal at the top of my queue, so if I select Autodraft, it automatically selects a player, and as you can see, Yashasvi Jaiswal is now on my team. So it picks the guy who's at the top of your queue. If not, it picks the guy who's at the top of your board. You're also able to filter based on position. So since I already have a bowler and a batsman, let me look to take an all-rounder next. So I'm allowed to filter by this, and I am a big Jadeja fan, so let me queue him. And yeah, you're allowed to queue as many players as you want, and filter based on any position. So wicketkeeper, I'll put a few and queue a few players here. And you're also able to filter which players are available or not. These players are not selected by the other team. So now it's my pick. Let me filter by position again. And let me take my all-rounder, Jadeja. So if you're keeping tabs, we need 2 batsmen, 2 bowlers, 1 all-rounder, 1 wicketkeeper, 2 flex, which can be any player of any position, and 3 bench. As you can see on the draft board, we snaked once more. So the last pick in the 3rd round, HK960, was the first pick in the 4th round. And if you look previously, Rahul had the last pick in the 2nd round and the first pick in the 3rd round. So it snaked there as well. The timer also is highlighted blue when it's your turn, so it's easier to know whether it's you on the clock. Alright guys, I'll be on Autodraft, and we'll see you at the end of the draft. We are towards the end of the draft. The darker boxes indicate that these players are on your bench. So regardless of position, we add them to the bench. And the purple means that they're flex. So that means regardless of the position, if you pick them, and you don't have a slot for a wicketkeeper, for example, KL Rahul is already my wicketkeeper, so it's automatically slotted into the flex. Same with the Hardik Pandya. I already had a Jadeja in my all-rounder slot. There was only one of those slots. So Pandya automatically gets slotted into the flex slot. Now our draft is finished. You have the option to leave the draft. Now that we've completed the draft, let's take a look at our team by clicking the My Team tab. So we can see here, these are the players we picked, and we have the option to swap if we want to. Let me put Fazal Farooqi into the team. And yeah, manage your team from here. We'll see you guys in a different video if you want to learn more about managing your team. So happy drafting guys, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.